year, 69% of S&P 500 boards had mandatory retirement ages, according to search firm Spencer Stuart. Commercial U.S. airline pilots are required to retire when they turn 65, and more than 30 states require judges to step down at a certain age.
Andrew Lieb is with us now. He's a seasoned attorney with expertise in addressing discrimination in the workplace. Andrew, first off, thank you so much for being here. We know with state and federal age discrimination laws in place, generally speaking, it's illegal for companies to impose a mandatory retirement age for rank and file employees, but there are some exceptions to this, as Chris just mentioned. Can you expand on that for us?
Certainly. Under federal law, we have this law called the Age Discrimination in Employment Act. And anyone who's 40 to 69 is fully protected, cannot be kicked out, cannot be forced to be retired. And if they do, they can sue for back pay and front pay and emotional distress and attorney's fees. Now, there is an exemption that we were just discussing, and Chris was just talking about in the previous package. And that means if you're 65 to 69, that gap area, and you're an executive, a bona fide executive, and you make $44,000 a year or more, you can be forced to retire. Also, in special industries, you mentioned the airlines, there could be a statute about that. But generally, under federal law, 40 to 69 is completely protected. And states like New York say, hey, everyone 18 and older is protected. So you got to check your state laws, too, because it's based on the state, the locale, and the federal law, Chris.
Andrew, sometimes behind these policies, there's an assumption that somebody who's older won't be as productive or competent, but there are groups out there who say that's just a bunch of baloney. Talk to us a little more about the benefits of having older workers in the workplace if they still want to be there.
Well, Chris, let's start off with the proposition that having someone at your job that wants to be there is the being most important, without a shadow of a doubt, thing when you're hiring someone. You need to have people that want to be at the job. We're reading about people who are working second jobs and trying to hide from working. That's no good. You want someone who's there, Chris. But I have to tell you, and I think this is very, very important, that when you're dealing with someone at the job, you can't have someone who is being forced out. Why not? Because older Americans are as important to the workforce as anyone else. And that stereotype you said before, when you said there's a feeling about this, that's the discrimination. You can't assign to a specific group something. You have to deal with employees as individuals. That's the importance, Chris. We can't say someone is like everyone else just because they're the same age. That's it, Chris.
Let's dive a little more into this idea of a mandatory retirement age. I know this would vary from sector to sector, but could a company conduct a periodic physical and/or mental test for its employees?
Absolutely. And the reason why you could do that is if it's not about all employees and it's just periodic, because you have to be able to do the essential functions of your job. You see, when we have discrimination laws, it's not saying, hey, you can work a lesser job or not work as long of a job. As long as you have a legitimate, non-discriminatory business rationale for what you're doing, meaning that, hey, everyone at this job needs to have this eyesight. Everyone at this job needs to have this ability of strength. Now, I will tell you, if you have different categories, like we're suing a police department right now because women had a lesser criteria than men, and a man needed an accommodation and he could perform like the women. And you see, you can't say, in this category you need this, and in this category you need this. It has to be across the board. But yes, you can have criteria to make physical requirements so long as they're correlated to the job. Now, I don't think you need to have a physical strength or something to teach physics. It has to be related to the job, Chris, and not baloney.
We've got 30 seconds left, and so as we wrap things up, if someone believes they've been pushed out or fired from their job because of their age, what legal recourse do they have, and what advice would you give them?
Well, I would tell them to speak to an attorney immediately, because in some states you only have 180 days to make your charge with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Other states you get 300 days, but 180 days go really, really fast. And you can always not pursue it. But if you don't file your charge within that 180 or 300 days, as the case may be, you may be foreclosed from bringing a case under the Age Discrimination in Employment Act. So it's essential, Chris, that you calendar these timelines. It's essential that you preserve your rights. And I'll give you one last thing. Realize that you matter. And just because you're older doesn't mean you can't work. The question is, can you do the essential functions of your job? If you do, they have to keep you as an employee so long as you're protected under the law, Chris.
Great information. Attorney Andrew Lieb. Andrew, thanks so much for your time and insight. We appreciate it. All week, we're